think I'm gonna change this motherfucker out.
WZR 1750 DHP and the WZR 1166 DHP. Here's our AC model. This is, of course, these are 1166 DHP. If you need the model number.
Boy made it to the Pro Bowl.
Extreme high power performance with signal strength, which we'll go into in a little bit. Also, automatic prioritization control with the QoS that they have built into it. Quality of service, if those of you don't know, it would help you basically give you a better experience for things that you're downloading and gaming at the same time. And in fact, I'll go through that in the demo and show you a little bit more about it. Let me flip to the
I don't know why this shit doing that.
45 gigahertz.
But get rid of this. I think I dropped that bit.
Frequencies. Kind of a little drawback to 5 gigahertz. You can, it's less traffic on the 5 gigahertz range, so you don't have to worry about things interfering with it, but you also don't get the distance that 2.4 gigahertz range will give you.
What better way than 12 and 4 against your Packers, my trade? Your Packers.
And just permeating through solid objects in general. So keep that in mind when you're using the
worst defense in the league. Worst in the league.
Unless I'm in a really small area and I know I'm going to have tons of throughput, I'm going to need my 5 gigahertz range for that, because you get a little bit more throughput for that. So you can see in the two different graphs here, these are the different models. The AC 1200, for instance, is using up to the N300, 300 megabits per second, and then it goes the rest of the way up to the full 1200 that it would be able to give you. And then the AC 1750, it's using the 5 gigahertz range here, and the N 2.4 gigahertz range here up to 450. So grand total of 1750 megabits per second. Then if I just show you on this graph, they're just showing the AC 1300, which is another model that we're just strictly showing you the 5 gigahertz range here and what kind of throughput you would get for that, 1300 megabits per second. So I'm going to flip to the back now and show you the rest of the comparison and what the different models would be giving you. So the AC 1166, excuse me, is the other model that we're talking about.
183 catches from one player. Now that's ridiculous.
The same other than the wireless speed. So you're still going to get secure connection, easier setup, which I'll go through with you. Mobile friendly.
I'm gonna show that on my goddamn box. That's alright, I'm gonna mess with that a little bit. I ain't gonna mess with you, big dog. Okay, I'll give you hands. My boy got them hands.
Setup if you needed to use mobile device and getting them connected.
He's a rookie.
They both
he's a big mauler, whatever they call it, mauler.
As well as the high power technology, simultaneous dual band, because it does use the two different radio frequencies, the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. USB shared ports, they both have 2 ports in that. The priority
my man
control,
superstar
QoS,
status
and web filtering
next year.
and parental control. Important if you have kids in the house and you want to control what they're able to view. Here's all the stuff that comes inside the box. I'll start with the paperwork first. We have the warranty statement from Buffalo, letting you know your warranty information, as well as some tech support contact information here. On top of that, we also have FCC's regulatory compliance information here. I actually found something kind of funny here at the bottom. I don't know if radiation is funny, but essentially just letting you know you have to stay with a minimum of 12 centimeters, or a minimum of 20 centimeters, excuse me, between the device that's radiating the signal and your body. just because of the way that they tested it. I'm assuming that if you get any closer than that, you definitely get cancer, because my chances are, my guess is you definitely do not get cancer from that at all. I guess don't quote me on that though. 20 years from now, who knows? Okay, so also on top of that, we also have the quick setup guide. It's going to show you exactly how to get it set up. I'm going to go through it with you really quickly, although this is pretty easy to do. Just plug in the power, and then eventually plug in the Ethernet cable.
Boy, it is pretty good.
So,
second year man.
Right along, we also have the
He trying to take over Jordy Reed's spot.
So you can get power to the device. Of course, they give you one flat Ethernet cable, so this way you can get it connected to your cable modem or your DSL modem. We also have the stand that you can actually attach it to the device, and this is actually what it looks like when it's completely attached. So it'll sit like that, similar to the one already in the background here. Otherwise,
2-hour game, guys.
Exactly
2 hours.
the same. And then we also
101 tackles. Look at my boy.
Mount it to the wall.
90 receptions.
Looked around a little bit and actually.
Boy, 156 tackles. Boy, my team was all over the field this year.
Where you might not be able to see them, but they're actually looped through clear plastic that's running just like this underneath the middle of that with 2 drill holes in it. Anyways, bottom line is that's how you would attach it to the wall. So on to the main event. Here's the air station itself. In this particular model, I'm doing the AC 1750. And this is the very front here, where you'll notice the LEDs as well. First off, we have.
I gotta stop playing, guys. I gotta get up here and go cook. So
to the wireless
better cut this off.
Stop playing around. Also, your internet connection light and the router access mode. Now that'll either be on or off, and that's the difference between it being a wireless bridge or an access point, which I'll show you on the back here in just a moment. The AOSS button, that's actually the Air Station One Touch Secure System, basically is exactly the same as what WPS would normally be doing, except that it's Buffalo's own version. So with other AOSS compatible devices, you'd be able to click that same button on the other device, and allow it to connect with security. So we flip this around to the back here and show you where most of the meat really is. Now, I mentioned before about the difference between access point and wireless.
30,000 for hit power
from Buffalo. You'd be able to flip this over to the wireless bridge, tap the mode button, and it would then enable it to work with another device, the other 1750, and actually create a wireless bridge to it. So if you were, maybe you have 3 floors in your household and you want to have another wireless router downstairs, then what you do is you flip it over the wireless bridge, get it to connect, and then now downstairs wirelessly you have another router that's connected to the first floor and using an internet connection via wireless, so you don't have to run a cable to it.
Okay.
Now, if you were in the normal router mode, it would already be flipped over to access point. And
94 tackles from a young man.
This as an access point and just give your current router in your household wireless activity,
wireless
connectivity, excuse me, then you'd be able to connect this from the WAN port to that router, and then click this button. It would flip it over to the access point mode as opposed to the normal router mode, and that would pertain back to that light at the front being on or off. Moving along, here's the USB section where you'll actually have access to USB 3.0 devices being shared on the network. Now, this particular device will allow you to connect your printer.
You just had a good year.
Or also do BitTorrenting. It has a BitTorrent client for point-to-point file sharing as well, so you could connect a USB 3.0 hard drive or a flash drive and essentially get some NAS functionality out of that as well. It's also a DLNA certified device, so you can easily media stream to other DLNA compatible devices, as well as being able to connect it to a printer. Also, if you were using any kind of USB storage, you'd be able to dismount that device just by holding it down here for 3 seconds, and then the device will flicker and then go out, so the light will go out on that particular device, letting you know it's safe to remove. Now, we have 4 more gigabit, 1000 megabit per second ports here. These are all Ethernet ports, obviously, and then you have for the WAN. You'd obviously connect this to
I didn't want that one.
The router from the outside port. You would go to your cable modem or your DSL modem or another router in the household. Then we have the on-off switch as well. Little hook here for wire management and the plug for AC power. Something else I want to mention too about this particular device. The overall look of it, it's almost a rubberized plastic. You've probably seen it in razor mice and other peripherals that might have that. Although you don't normally touch a router, I just want to mention that was a little bit different. Also, the plastic here, it's just a normal hardened plastic with a little bit of a textured finish to it. So it looks kind of nice. It would sit on your desk and not look too poor. Also, if I flip to the bottom here, you can actually see the rest of this particular device. Actually, this is the AC 1300 device.
As y'all can see, I ain't got nothing better to do early on.
1750. Something I want
Trying to get my squad right. Certain players I ain't gonna touch because I want them to be better next year.
Cool, other than the reset button that's down here.
183 tackles. That's ridiculous. Catches. That's ridiculous.
And it's to store your network information. So flip that around so I can show you. So here's the configuration side, so showing you the standard IP address it would go to and the normal username and password you'd be able to use. Flip that to the other side here, and it shows you all the wireless connectivity. So if you reset this router and you're always looking around, oh God, let me look up on the and it shows you all the wireless connectivity. So if you reset this router and you're always looking around, oh God, let me look up on the internet real quick and find out what the standard admin password is or the wireless information is, it's all right here. So you don't have to go very far to get that. Two things I want to tell you guys before I get too deep into this. One is that I did mention that was the AC.
My nigga up there knocking people
1300 in the last part of this video. I actually intended to say AC 1200 model that we were looking at. Aside from that, in terms of the accessories, the biggest difference between the AC 1750 model and the AC 1200 model is that this actually comes with an inline brick instead of it just being a standard plug that you would use for the power. So that being said, this is the 1750 and this is the 1200. Also, I adapted the
I got the 1750. I want 1750 status.
The base, and that was just to put them on the sides here. So it's just
well, that's about it, guys. I think I'm done.
You can essentially set up the air station.
2 hours in.
So moving right along, I did get us set up with this particular.
2 more games and my season's over with. Hopefully,
so you can
2 more games because these damn Packers.
I'll also show you the mobile browser, which is interesting because it actually doesn't.
They're gonna have Aaron Rodgers all over the field.
Log in and click the mobile
91, 93. That's ridiculous.
So essentially, what they've done is just code the interface.
I don't know how these niggas always
use that. So on top of that, if you're familiar with Buffalo devices, they did go with a new GUI. So this user interface is different than what you're used to. That's because they just updated it. Moving right along, let me just show you guys real quick the basics here. So, of course, by clicking the wireless,
they got 93 with Colt McCoy at the quarterback status.
For instance, the
are you serious, dude?
The 2.4 gigahertz radio.
These niggas got Colt McCoy as their quarterback. Where's Aaron Rodgers at? Did he retire?
Device when you're trying to connect to it. Also, you can change the different encryption types as well as the encryption
85. Come on, let me see where they got this 93 at. Randall Cobb, Nelson, 80s. They must got it from their offensive line. 73 for linebacker, tight ends. O-line, 94. Okay. Left guard, 71.
So that's the best setting
89.
for that. Moving backwards here.
86. How did it get to 90 with just that? 89. Not one player on all their defense must be.
Now it's going to take a moment for this to configure. We'll give it a second to do that.
Nope.
Essentially what that was it was trying to connect to it as if I was pushing
they be cheating for the computer. That team don't even have a 90 on one player.
It's just going to sit there trying to configure it. And because there's no device
Matthews, 92. There's not, okay, they're secondary.
Here's where I would click to actually access that.
Okay, they're secondary up there. Damn, Clinton Dixon,
Here's the guest account area where you can essentially set up an SSID specifically for guests that enter your home and you don't have to worry about it.
There's no way they're 93. If you look at my team and look at their team,
normally
you compare
it. Someone is just in in and out for the day, or someone that needs to use the
Anyway, hey, I appreciate y'all who did join into the playoffs. You know, as you see, this is just a practice. And I got to go, man. I got to get ready for work. So,
you can optimize the